Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pokemon White. So now that we've taken care of Team Plasma over by the cold storage, although Gensis did show up to take them back. But anyways, now we're done with all that. We can now finally challenge the Driftveil Gym. Now for this gym, as you probably could tell, considering that Gensis called Clay the Minor King, which could obviously mean one thing, is that and as this guy says here, the gym of Clay uses ground type Pokemon. So of course, and for those of you who know your ground types by now, ground types are definitely weak against, not just for water attacks, but they're also weak to grass. That guy also says, considering that our ground type's weakness is, at least one of the ground type's weakness is water. You definitely question, why is it that Clay's gym lives right next to water? Isn't that definitely an odd thing? But anyways, now as I was, as you can see, not all, definitely not every single Pokemon in this gym aren't going to be weak, aren't going to be weak to water. Considering that we are going to be dealing with some Alpitoads here too. So definitely bring along at least one grass type so that you can at least also have yourself a chance too. Or maybe even that Vanillite that we actually caught, that we actually found earlier in the cold storage if you want to. But anyways, everyone now. What's everyone now? Anyways, everyone. Now as for this gym itself, now this gym, considering that it's a place where it is essentially a place where Clay does a lot of his mining in. Meaning that this gym is essentially a long big ass tunnel downward, and we essentially have to navigate all around while climbing up and down all of these lifts here. So that we can try to reach, so that we can, trying to reach on the bottom of where Clay is. Now, and also as you can see as well, over to your left there, is a cone there. And the main reason why that cone is there is because, if that cone wasn't there, then we can just immediately just go right towards Clay, like immediately. So they essentially intentionally did that on purpose. They essentially intentionally did that on purpose. So that you essentially have to go for this whole maze, through this whole maze of lifts first. Because obviously they didn't want to make things too easy. But anyways, everyone, now considering that we are dealing with ground types, meaning that the majority of the Pokemon that we're gonna be fighting in this gym are either Palpitoads, Drillburs, Sandiles, and sometimes Krokoroks. Now, just like Alisa, there are two other ground type Pokemon lines or essentially 2 other ground types that we still have yet to meet within a Generation 5. But just like with Elise's lack of electric types, yeah, these three Pokemon lineups in this gym, yeah, they were the only ones that we're gonna be seeing, and those are the only ones that we're gonna be seeing within this gym. And look. I do get why they chose to do this. You know, to save those Pokemon, like, until we actually eventually meet them later. But it kind of makes the gyms very lackluster in terms of the essentially in terms of the variety of Pokemon that are that we actually encounter within the gyms. Yeah, and I also say this now because, well, just like with Elisa, yeah, considering that the only 2 electric types that we saw within that gym, yeah, meaning that the only ones that we really got to see were Emolga's, or even Blitzel slash Zepstrika. The 3 Pokemon that Clay has are essentially the free lineup, the free lineup of Pokemon that we're seeing, that we are already are seeing from these two, already are seeing from these trainers here. So again, what I'm getting at is, I prefer gyms where when it comes to the Pokemon that we're going to be meeting within those gyms, actually have more variety in terms of the Pokemon that we're going to be seeing before we actually reach the gym leaders themselves. So yeah, that is essentially my hot take on this. Okay, and now with that said, yeah, we're just gonna be finishing things off with the rest of these trainers and just moving along. And we're just going to move along from that. Now, oh yeah, that's right, and another thing that I want to point out is, yeah, I really do hope that my Sandile does evolve before we get to our gym battle with Clay. Because, yeah, let's say I'm definitely going to be needing my own Krokorok if I want to be able to have myself a chance against Clay. Well, actually, his first 2 Pokemon, they're really, they're not exactly going to be the biggest deals in the world. It's just his strongest Pokemon is what I'm worried about. Yeah, and for those of you who have played a Generation 5 before, yeah, definitely know which Pokemon that I am referring to. So yeah, so like I said, I really hope that my Sandile evolves before we get, before we actually get to our gym battle. Yeah, but anyways. And speaking of evolving, now, as you've been seeing here, now while our Pansage really has been growing quite a few levels for quite a long while, and now some of you may be questioning, when exactly am I going to evolve my Pansage? Considering that I already do have my own Leaf Stone already. Now, here's the thing. Pansage is still gonna be Pansage for at least a little bit longer. Because there is still one more move that I want to teach my Pansage. But before I there is one more move that I want to teach my Pansage. Before I even think about it. Before I even think about evolving him, so So yeah, essentially, yeah, depending on the level that I am gonna be getting this move, this can still take some time, you know. Anyways, now for you. Clay is at the bottom of the gym. But I will test you to see whether you are skilled enough to face the gym leader. Well, considering that you are the last trainer that we're facing, you know, before we get to reach Clay, so yeah, I guess it makes sense, Katie. And you just have a driller. And I'm really not much of a shocker at this point. Oh my god, Jesus! Yeah, that crit could have easily killed my Sandile right there. But thankfully, considering that Dribber used Rock Slide and... wow. Okay, but thankfully that Dribber did not KO my Sandile so that my Sandile can reach the level where I'm thinking this is definitely the moment where our Sandile is finally going to be evolving. There you go, you defeated. Yeah, she says that she's definitely not skilled enough. And here it is. Our lovely Sandile's evolving, baby! Krokorok! Yeah, we finally got our own Krokorok, baby. Now we are really going to kick some ass now. Everyone else that we're gonna be facing, beware of our Krokorok. Okay, now let's get the three Pokemon that I'm gonna be using against Clay fully set up here. Oh yeah, and it's actually gonna be very ironic considering 2 of the 3 Pokemon that I'm gonna be using, Clay also has on him too. Yeah, it's gonna be very ironic, isn't it? But anyways, here we are at the very bottom. Now, as you can see, over to the left and right, yeah, you can definitely see that Clay's definitely been mining some crystals here. Yeah. Clay has definitely got his work cut out for him here. But anyways, now we're not gonna talk about mining right now. We're now gonna get into our gym battle against him. Alright, let's just hope it all goes well. Think it's about time to see for myself what it is about your skills that made a gym leader like Elisa take such a shine to you. Well, guess what, Clay? You are gonna see it firsthand. Alright, Clay, let's do this, you son of a bitch. Alright. Now starting things off is his own Krokorok. Now it has the ability Moxie, and it also has the moves Crunch, Swagger, Torment, and a ground type move called Bulldoze. Now another move that was also introduced within this generation. Now it is a ground type move that can actually slow down the opponents. So yeah, definitely take very good use out of that move. But as now for second Pokemon, his own from Palpitoad. It has the ability Swift Swim, and it has the moves Aqua Ring, Muddy Water, Bubble Beam, and a Bulldoze, and it also has Bulldoze as well. And now for his last Pokemon, and it is definitely a very strong one. Yeah. And now we get to the first introduction of the evolution of Drillbur, Excadrill. Now his Excadrill has the ability Sand Rush, and it has the moves Slash, Rock Slide, Bulldoze, and Hone Claws. Yeah, Hone Claws. A move that raises attack and accuracy, which is why I wanted to send out my Krokorok for this. Because, yeah, I had a feeling that he was going to raise up his attack stat with Hone Claws. So, yeah. But thankfully, I actually managed to get myself an actual, a crit. I actually managed to get a crit with that Satu. Now, and considering that I will be avoiding his next attack with Dig, now hopefully, and over with this, we should knock him out. There we go. Excadrill, down and out. Alright, excellent work, Krokorok. Yeah, like I said, now that we have a Krokorok, opponents fear him now. I see. But I sure don't like it. For such a yunnin, you have an opposing battle style. I know you got people who could dig up your potential. Here, take this. Yes, indeed. We're gonna be taking Gym Badge number 5. Alright, put that bitch inside the case. And now we got the Quake Badge. So this is your 5th badge. If that's so, Pokemon up to level 60 will be. Also, I'll give you this TM. Well, that was the plan, but I just remembered there's something I want. What? Wait in front of the cave at the end of Route 6, would you? Yeah, this is actually the first time ever where I'm thinking that this is actually either the first time, or essentially, yeah, I would say, yeah, one of the few times in the franchise where you don't actually get the TM from the gym leaders until you've actually done something else. Yeah, it is essentially the same ordeal as what we went through with Soul Silver, with Claire not exactly wanting to give us the gym badge before we, until after we headed towards the Dragon's Den first. Yeah, but however this time we actually get the gym badge first. But we don't exactly get the TM from Clay until we actually go to the end of Route 6. But anyways, now that we've got gym badge number 5, as you can see, we can now start buying Ultra Balls, full heals, and even some from Maxopals too. And these right here I'm definitely getting. Especially Ultra Balls. Considering that I am definitely gonna be needing more of those. Now as for Hyper Potions, I still won't get those yet. But yeah, like I said, Ultra Balls I'm definitely getting. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna need more of those Ultra Balls. Cause I'm definitely gonna be needing those in the future. But anyways, everyone, with that said, that shall be all I'm gonna do for this part. And so the next part, I'll see you guys next time!